So there has been a lot of great quarterbacks that have been in the NFL and that are still in the NFL right now. But in this video, I will only bring it down to 10, and it will be the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. I already did my top 10 running backs in the NFL, so I want to continue that top 10, do the top 10 quarterbacks. Before I get into this, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Agree or disagree with these takes. NFL takes all year long. So if you guys want to continue seeing videos of this topic, hit that subscribe button. So we're going to start off with my 1 to 5 and then 6 to 10. So I have 1, Patrick Mahomes. I have 2, Josh Allen. I have 3, Lamar Jackson. I have 4, Joe Burrow. And I have 5, Jalen Hurts. Now, this has changed because this has changed throughout the weeks, right? So I'm gonna start off with number 1. Yes, regular season he hasn't been amazing, but he's been so good in the postseason. One of the best postseason QBs of our generation, and he just has that arm talent that not a lot of NFL QBs have. Not just that he is mobile, he is talented. He can go out the pocket if he needs to, and he's a pretty good decision maker. Sometimes he throws, risky passes that are in tight coverage, but every QB does that and has tension. Does have those times when they do throw it in double coverage, but he's still the best QB in the NFL, in my opinion. Now, the Josh Allen over Lamar Chase. You guys might be a little crazy, but I do think Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. I think Josh Allen has a better arm than Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen's a better passer than Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen is an amazing rusher, not maybe on the level of Lamar Jackson, but has more rushing touchdowns throughout the years. Not just that, Josh Allen can be a top 10 QB when it's all said and done, and he still has he still has more years on him, and I do think Lamar is amazing, but he's not good in the playoffs. And I do think that Josh Allen does excel in the playoffs, to be honest with you, and he's 7-6 in the playoffs. He has had huge games in the playoffs. Matter of fact, in the 13 games he's played in the playoffs, 25 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he is just super talented. I think this is a different type of talent from a QB that we've seen in some years. And not a lot of QBs can say that they are an elite passer and a near elite runner that Josh Allen is. 6'5", 220, maybe more, around 240. He's dominance. He's physical dominance, and he's a phenomenal QB. Now Lamar has to go at number 3. Lamar is a phenomenal QB. He's great rushing. He's been improving with his passing. He has a low interception rate. I believe it's 2.3 interception rate throughout his career. Great decision maker. And, this is a QB that is breaking records for, multiple 1,000-yard rushing, seasons. And he's just one of the most talented QBs in the NFL, and people are getting inspired by him. Other QBs in the league definitely have been getting inspired by him. Number 4 has to be Joe Burrow. The thing about Joe Burrow is, he's still young, and hopefully the injuries don't mess up his career, because he was healthy last year, but had the calf and stuff in previous seasons. So hopefully he can continue to stay healthy throughout his NFL career. And Joe Burrow's talented. He's a great pocket passer. He can run the ball if he needs to. He has good enough mobility to do so. And the reason why I don't have him over Lamar is because Burrow has had weapons throughout his career. He's had Lamar Chase, he's had T. Higgins, he's obviously had Chase Brown second half of the year. Mixon for a little. He's had weapons. Lamar has had, besides Derrick Henry, you can say Mark Andrews. I don't think Zay Flowers is amazing, to be honest with you. I think Rashad Bateman is decent at best. And Lamar's been carrying offense, with not a lot of talent on that Baltimore offense besides D-Han and Mark Andrews. when Joe Burrow's had weapons, but that doesn't take away Joe Burrow's talents. It doesn't take away how good Joe Burrow is as a quarterback. And he's one of the most still skilled quarterbacks in the NFL, no doubt about it. Now, this is tough list to 5 because I had TJ in contention, I had Jayden Daniels in contention for this 5 spot. But overall, I'm with Jalen Hurts. And do I think he's the most talented QB in the NFL? No, but that's not what he is. He's a great rushing QB. He's able to get the job done. He's had amazing performances in the past. He doesn't throw a ton of interceptions. Yes, he's not the greatest passer in the world, but that's not what he is. Michael Vick was an amazing QB. Oh, not amazing, but he was a really solid QB. He wasn't known as a passer. Yeah, he is a solid passer, but he's going for a run heavy. And Jalen Hurts, he's in a run heavy offense, and he has, he doesn't bring the team down. I still think he's a top 5 QB. Do I think he's on the level as the big 4, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow? No, but he's definitely around there. I still think he's amazingly talented. Now, through the 6-10 spots, 6 I have CJ Stroud, 7 I have Jayden Daniels right there, and I have Baker at 8. I have Matthew Stafford at 9, and the 10 is a battle, but I'm still going to put Brock Purdy there. Now, let's talk to the 6-10 slots. Let's go through the 6 through 10. So for the number 6 slot, right, CJ Stroud. Stroud is amazing. And you could have said, yay, he had a bad year. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't terrible. And the whole receiving room was injured. Nico Collins was going off the IR multiple times. Tank Dell. We all know Joe Mixon's injury, this year. And Nick Chubb's going to take that starting running back role for Houston, and CJ Stroud is a good QB. He is young, he still has a lot of more years on his belt. And I'm super excited to see how the rest of his NFL career goes. Now, he has to go over Jayden Daniels right now because, he's obviously more experienced. He's been in the league longer. And, Stroud's good. He has a pretty good skill set. He's able to get the job done for you and had an elite rookie season. A really, really good rookie season. Obviously drafted out of Ohio State. And he is a phenomenal QB. Now, Jayden Daniels, I still think, he's not amazing. I still think he gets a tad overrated, but he's still a great QB. He had an amazing passer rating last year. He's super elusive, and he took his team to the NFC Championship as a rookie quarterback. No, he probably had the best rookie QB season of all time. But that doesn't mean that he can't slump in the sophomore slump. That doesn't mean that injuries can't fiddle with him in his career. However, he has a really high ceiling, and he's one of the most funnest QBs to watch. If you don't like watching Jayden Daniels, then come on, bro. He's so fun to watch. He has so much potential, and he has tons of more years on him. He's probably going to play for another 10 to 13 years, and I think he's really good. Now, 8, I do have Baker Mayfield. Now, this is an interesting one, but he came off of a phenomenal 2024 season. The flaw with Baker Mayfield is he could have been higher. He's a high turnover guy. He threw 16 interceptions in the 2024 season, but he threw over 40 touchdowns. And Baker Mayfield is going to be. He's a great gunslinger, and he's able to produce passing touchdowns for your team. He has some decent mobility. He's a pretty good gunslinger, as I said, and he's going to get the job done for you. And I think the Browns got rid of him a little too early. Yes, he wasn't great in Cleveland, but he's talented, and if he could just limit the turnovers, the interception rates, and everything like that, he could have moved up a couple of spots. And I really like Baker. He's one of my favorite QBs in the league right now. On 9 is Matthew Stafford. Now, yes, he's older, but he's so consistent. He's not going to produce that prime Detroit vintage Matthew Stafford with, Danny Amendola and, obviously Calvin Johnson, who was playing earlier in the decade, in the 2010s. But he's going to get the job done for you. And that is a really important thing to see from I think, 38-year-old QB. I'm not comment down below if I'm wrong with the age, but I really like Matthew Stafford. He's really solid. He has a pretty good arm. He will get the job done day in and day out, and he fits this Rams offense well. He has weapons now with Puka. He has Devontae Adams. He has Kyren Williams in the backfield. And I'm really excited for this Rams team. Yes, I'm a Seahawks fan. I don't really want to say that. But I really do think that the Rams are going to be a fun team to watch for a lot of NFL fans that are Rams fans. And Kyle Shanahan is going to be cooking something up this year. I do think they're going to have an 11-6 record, and they're going to be really fun to watch. And a big reason for that is Matthew Stafford leading the charge. Now, number 10 is, this is a tough one. I think that there is a lot of QBs to consider for this number 10 spot, but I'm going to take Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is a good QB. He still had a decent year last year. He threw over 20 touchdown passes. This is another guy that, they weren't, the receiving room was not at its best last year. You had Deebo Samuel, which was, terrible last season. Christian McCaffrey was hurt last year. A lot of his main weapons that he throws to weren't playing at their best. And he was still able to put up a quality year, and it wasn't his fault why the Niners were so bad. I'm pretty sure that the defense, it wasn't prime defense. And, San Fran, they just weren't able to stack together a bunch of wins. I think they were 6-11 last year. And it wasn't Brock Purdy's fault necessarily. I just think that they weren't able. They didn't get the success that they hoped for. And I was expecting better. I was really disappointed with that last year. The Niners had. We split with them. So we'll see how the Niners do this year. They do have Christian McCaffrey. Hopefully he stays healthy. They have George Kittle still there. Brandon Ayuk should be coming back. Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and obviously Brock Purdy. Now the defense is probably going to be lackluster, and getting rid of Talanoa Hufanga, getting rid of Drake Greenlaw, but they still have the best linebacker, top 2 linebacker in the league with Fred Warner, amazing player. And Brock Purdy, I'm expecting a really good year. I'm a fan of Brock Purdy. I think out of all the QBs in the division, he's probably, if I were to rank all the QBs in the NFC West, I do think it's going to be 1, Matthew Stafford. 2, it's probably going to have to be Brock Purdy, then Kyler Murray, and then Sam Darnold at the bottom. But I do think Brock Purdy has to be in the top 10 list, even though I hate the Niners. No disrespect to you guys. You guys are a good team. Y'all play well. I don't like the 49ers, but, they're still a solid team. So, Niners fans should be happy, but, I do despise the team. Obviously in my division, so I don't like the team. But, it is what it is. But that is it. To go over my top 10 again, guys. We have 1, Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the best in the league right now. I have 2, Josh Allen. I have 3, Lamar Jackson. I have 4, Joe Burrow. I have 5, Jalen Hurts. I got 6. It's going to have to be C.J. Stroud. I have 7, Jaden Daniels. I have 8, Baker Mayfield. I have 9, Matthew Stafford, Mr. Consistent. And I have 10, Brock Purdy. Even though I don't like the Niners team, I have to give them that credit. They have a good offense down there. That is it for today's video. Let me know what y'all think. Comment down below your take on this list, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.